Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel where art and creativity always meet. Today we will draw a picture of a familiar but also very special object, which is a camera. Even if you have never drawn mechanical objects or technological devices, do not worry, because I will guide you step by step from basic sketches to delicate details so that the final picture is both accurate in proportion and vivid and attractive. Before starting, prepare drawing paper, pencils, erasers, and if you want crayons or watercolors to color, because colors will help the camera become more realistic. We will start by observing the camera. A camera usually consists of three main parts: the lens, the body, and the controls. The lens is the central and most noticeable part, usually round with a clear outline. The body is the part that surrounds the lens and is rectangular or slightly square depending on the model. On the body, you will find a number of buttons, a screen, and sometimes a grip, all of which contribute to its characteristic shape and realistic feel. If you look closely, you will realize that the ratio between the lens and the body is very important, because if it is not balanced, the picture will lose its natural and realistic look. Now let's start sketching the basic frame. Draw a large rectangle for the body, paying attention to the corners and proportions. Don't worry if the lines are not perfectly straight. At first, we can fix it later. Next, locate the lens in the middle of the body, draw a large circle. Make sure that the lens is centrally located and proportional to the body, as it is the main focal point of the picture. Once you have drawn the lens circle, you can sketch a smaller circle inside to create the effect of depth for the lens. This is an important detail if you want the camera to look deep and realistic. Next, we will add the basic details of the body. On the body, determine the location of the buttons, shutter button, and screen. Draw them with small rectangles or circles, considering the proportions and positions to make the drawing look harmonious. If the camera you are drawing has a grip, sketch it with a slight curve on one side of the body. The grip will create a three-dimensional feel, making the drawing more vivid and realistic. Make sure that all the details are sketched in light editable lines, as we will go into the details in the following steps. Next, the details of the lens. Lenses usually have many concentric circles, sometimes with small grooves or outlines. Draw each circle accurately, paying attention to the proportions between the circles to create a realistic feel. You can add details like focus ring aperture or small symbols. This will make the drawing more vivid. When drawing the lens details, observe the light and shadow on the metal or glass surface, as they will make the lens look more realistic and have more depth. After finishing the lens and the camera body, we will move on to other small details such as the button screen and the edges on the body. Emphasize these details with darker lines or clear outlines. At the same time, identify the light source, for example the light coming from the top left, and add small areas of light and shadow on the camera body and lens. This will give the drawing more depth, highlight, and naturalness. You can use light pencil strokes to create shadows and leave some white space on the metal or glass surface to simulate reflected light, creating a glossy effect. Next is the coloring step if you want the drawing to be more vivid. If you are using pencils, start with a light base color for the entire body, then gradually build up darker layers in the shadow areas. If you are using watercolors, start with a light layer, let it dry, then add darker layers to create the natural light and shine of a metal or glass surface. The base colors are usually black, gray, or silver for the body, with red, yellow, or blue accents, depending on the button details or lens ring. When painting, emphasize the light and shadow, especially on the lens, to create a three-dimensional dynamic feel. Don't forget the surroundings. A table stand or light dark background will help the camera stand out. You can sketch in soft curves or blurred details in the background to create a sense of space without distracting from the main subject. The background doesn't need to be too detailed, just harmonious, and highlight the camera. When everything is done, check the picture again. Check that the proportions, lines, details, and colors are balanced. You can emphasize small details like the lens rings, buttons, bezels, and screens to make the painting more vivid. A good tip is to look at the painting from a distance. This will help you spot any details that are out of balance or need to be adjusted. When you are satisfied, you can sign your work and keep it. And now, as you look at the finished painting, take a moment to appreciate every detail from the lens, contours, the concentric circles, to the buttons and grips. Each stroke has a personal touch, and that is what makes the work special. Painting is not just about recreating an object, but also a journey to practice patience, keen observation, and creativity. A camera seems simple, but when you observe it carefully and express it with strokes, it becomes vivid, realistic, and attractive. If you are interested, try drawing more different types of cameras with different shapes, colors, and styles. Each time you will practice your observation skills, color, matching proportions, and creativity. Don't forget to share your work with friends, relatives, or on art platforms because every painting deserves to be admired and appreciated. Finally, remember that art is a journey, not a destination. Every painting you do is a step along the way. Enjoy the process, learn from the details, and always trust your creativity. Thank you for taking the time to draw with me today, and I hope you had a relaxing, enjoyable, and inspiring time. See you in the next art tutorials, where we will explore more unique objects, tools, and ideas to bring your imagination to life.